2025 so far has been stacked with some incredible brand new free-to-play games, and luckily we are only halfway through the year. From surprising indie titles to high-quality multiplayer games, I round out 20 of the best brand new completely free-to-play games you should absolutely don't want to miss right now in 2025. And you can simply go ahead and download all of these games from Steam, and also a few games available on Epic Games Store. So without wasting any more time guys, let's jump straight into our number 20. Alright, I'm starting with one of the most unique Battle Royale games to came out in 2025, and that is none other than Mini Royale. It's a free-to-play, super fun and colorful, more like a casual Battle Royale game, where you play as these little green army toy soldiers in this massive kid's bedroom. The game is still on early access, so it's very much feel like an early access title right now. The gunplay feels somewhat mediocre compared to some of the other games on our today's list, but still fun to shoot around. It's fast-paced, chaotic, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. There are a bunch of game modes available in the game. Of course, there's a Battle Royale mode where you can jump in on solo, duo or trio on both first person and third person. There is also game modes like Team Deathmatch and Deathmatch, and a very unique game mode called Color Conquest. All in all, it's a fun little Battle Royale game with some cool mechanics and easy gunplay. It's definitely not the most popular game on our today's list, but hands down one of the coolest games to came out in 2025. Alright, moving on to number 19, we got an incredible fighting game that just dropped on Steam, and that is Marvel Contest of Champions. So this one is a free-to-play, very simplified, combo-friendly Marvel fighting game, and you can mix and match from more than 300 plus characters. The characters like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Iron Man, you name it. The combat is pretty snappy. You got light, medium and heavy attack, blocks, dodges, plus a very cool looking signature move when you fill up the power bar. So it's very much similar to game like Injustice or Mortal Kombat, but very streamlined and targeted toward more of a casual audience. But if you're a Marvel fan and love collecting iconic heroes and looking for a simple fighting game with good mechanics, flashy combat and just fun casual gameplay, this is hands down one of the coolest games you can check out right now. If you're into large-scale sci-fi mech shooter style of games, next up we got War Robots Frontier. So this one is a free-to-play, large-scale multiplayer mech shooter that emphasizes lot on tactical combat and customization. You can simply jump in, build and customize your own war machine, then team up with other players for a thrilling PvP intergalactic battles. And not like the mobile counterpart, this one is actually built from the ground up for the PC and the console version with improved graphics, tons of added customization and even destructible environments. Right now there are bunch of game modes available in the game with variety of mech classes and different weapons, allowing you to diverse and customize your strategies. All in all, it's a pretty fun and action-packed mech shooter you can jump in right now for absolutely free. Arcadegeddon is a game that you probably never even heard before, but it's an awesome free-to-play third-person roguelike shooter where you and up to 3 of your friends jump into these vibrant, procedurally generated biomes, blast through enemies, and hunt for loot and upgrades. I gotta say man, the gameplay loop is so much fun and addictive. The gunplay feels super tight and satisfying with tons of weapons and fun elemental effects like ice and freeze. On top of everything, there are those mini games and also boss fights, adding a bit of a nice change of pace. Visually the game looks really cool. It's colorful, energetic, almost like cartoonish cyberpunk. All in all, a very cool little game to jump in right now, especially if you like fast-paced, loot-driven, co-op style shooters. It's free to play and available on Steam and also on Epic Games Store. One of the most anticipated free-to-play games to came out this year, it had to be the girls' Frontline 2 Exillium. It's a free-to-play anime-style tactical RPG game set in this futuristic world filled with war and mystery. So in this game you play as a commander of an elite squad, so you have to plan your battles carefully, making each character's unique abilities to overcome powerful enemies. The game actually got some pretty deep strategic gameplay mechanics, cool anime-style visuals and an engaging single-player sci-fi storyline. And this game is definitely for that anime/JRPG lovers who love playing tactical, turn-based style combat RPG. So if you're into that, it's totally worth checking out. It's free to play and single player. Also right now having very positive reviews on Steam. Guys, if you're looking for a chaotic multiplayer experience with a unique twist, Grapple Galore is a game that you need to try out right now. So this game is basically an arena shooter, but instead of running around like a traditional FPS, you are using a grappling hook to swing through the map, dodging bullets and pull off insane aerial maneuvers against your opponents. There are a bunch of weapons in the game like typical stuff like pistols, rifles, or some fun explosives like RPGs or grenade launchers, but they randomly spawn in a map, so you have to grab and collect them, and they all comes with a very limited amount of ammo. more. And the game features a physics-based movement system, which means mastering these grappling hook mechanics is absolutely key to outmaneuver your opponents. It's really fun, fast-paced and unpredictable and full of hilarious moments. Awesome little party game to play right now, especially if you like arena shooters but looking for something more unique and fun. Alright, next up we got Game of Thrones Kingsroad, a brand new action RPG set in this immersive world of Westeros. And throughout the game you got to explore iconic locations from the show like King's Landing and Castle Black. And as of storyline, you're playing as a member of a House Tyre, a lesser known family from the north, and after the death of your brothers you have to restore the house honor and navigate this complex political landscape. There are a bunch of classes with unique combat abilities. You can jump into the storyline, complete main quests, side quests, and even some faction tasks. There are so much to explore, from a vast open world to massive dungeons. Everything sounds pretty good on the paper until we talk about some of the monetizations available in the game. There are a lot of stuff packed into the game: in-game purchases, battle passes, subscription, which I feel like it's a bit too much compared to some of the other free-to-play games. All in all, a solid RPG game to jump in right now, but remember the game is not available in certain regions, which is something you have to keep in mind. Alright, moving on to our next game, we got Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun WOV Vengeance. This one is a free-to-play, a super unique first-person shooter, but compared to a classic boomer shooter like Doom or Quake, instead of shooting your weapons in this game, you basically have to type the words that you see in order to destroy your enemies. So there is no aiming, no clicking the mouse to shoot. You basically have to type the words as quickly as you can, which can be somewhat difficult, especially if you're a slow typer like me. But thankfully there are a range of difficulties that you can choose in order to progress to the game. It is honestly such a cool concept, something I haven't really experienced before. So if you're in the mood for some relentless typing action, this is an awesome game to jump in right now. Moving on to another popular game that was previously only available on Epic Game Store but very recently dropped on Steam, and that is Infinity Nikki. So it's a cozy open world adventure filled with vast landscapes, mystical puzzles and unexpected platforming challenges, and you play as Nikki exploring this magical world called Mirrorland with your sassy catty companion. And throughout your journey you have to collect different outfits which grant you different powers like gliding, shrinking and purifying enemies. It's very colorful, very adorable. The narrative is a quirky mix of light-hearted and surprisingly deep. The game is free to play and it got that cute anime art style. It may not be for everyone, but if you're into open world exploration, fashion / puzzle, kind of a relaxing gaming experience, Infinite Nikki is definitely worth take a look. Moving on to number 11, we got Tribe 9, a brand new free-to-play stylish action RPG with an anime-inspired cyberpunk world and satisfying combat mechanics. The game actually set in this neo-futuristic Tokyo where different factions battle for control. And in this game, you play as a resistant fighter engaged in fast-paced combat against powerful enemies using mix of melee attacks, special abilities, and futuristic weapons. The game actually got a super fluid movement mechanics, flashy combat, and a single-player storyline that's full of intense moment and intriguing characters. I remember the demo version for this game received a lot of positive feedback from the community, but the full release, well, not so much. Right now sitting on mixed reviews on Steam, but despite that, it's a very cool game to check out right now, especially if you're a fan of RPG style of games or anyone just enjoying a good single player high energy action game. Moving on to our next game, we got Wuthering Waves. There's no doubt this is one of the most popular games among all the platforms. This was previously available on Epic Game Store, but a lot of people will agree it's glad to see the game on Steam. So this one is a story-rich open-world action RPG with a very unique anime art style and somewhat controversial gacha mechanics. In terms of gameplay, it's very similar to games like Genshin Impact. The combat is fast-paced and combo-heavy, with each character bringing unique skills and playstyles, and swapping between them in the mid-fight triggering these flashy tag team moves, keeping the battles more dynamic and engaging. There is also a very strong narrative in the game with a dense cast of characters, but I can understand this style of games may not be for everyone. But no doubt it's one of the most popular games to jump in right now. If you're a fan of stylish action RPG games, I'm sure you're probably already playing this game by now. One of the most exciting sci-fi shooters that dropped this year had to be Steel Hunters. So this is a free-to-play PvP/PvE mech shooter where you team up with your buddies to make a rival squad while battling AI enemies. It's set in a futuristic, gritty world with tons of customization to your mechs. It is not a battle royale game, but it's definitely bringing that intensity with environmental destruction and absolutely stunning visuals. And you can basically control and customize these huge war machines called Hunters, and each one has its own role like tanking, supporting and dishing out damage. It's definitely a cool free-to-play game to jump into, especially if you are a fan of games like Titanfall. But of course, being a free-to-play title, you can expect it to have some high microtransactions, monetization and stuff like that. But other than that, it's a solid game. Jump in and enjoy, and let me know down below what you think. We already got a number of so many impressive RPG games that dropped in 2025, and we got another brand new game to add to the tally, and this one is called Blue Archive. The game actually just released on Steam few days ago, and right now it's pretty popular, having more than 10,000 plus daily concurrent players. So this one is a free-to-play tactical real-time RPG game where you field a squad of 6. The battles are mostly automatic, but you manually have to trigger some special skills. You don't really have to think a lot like super deep. It's a light strategy game, focus a lot on timing your abilities, and most of the time missions are very quick and smooth. Obviously it's an anime style game with gacha mechanics, but it's surprisingly fair compared to some of the other games. You can accumulate a lot of this gacha currency through gameplay, events and even logins. So honestly it's not that grindy or not that difficult to pull off characters, which is really cool. But you guys know I personally not much into this style of anime RPG style of games, but if you're into that, this one is a very cool brand new game to jump in right now, and it's totally free to download on Steam. If you're into third-person action MOBA style games, next up we got one of the biggest games to came out in 2025, and that is SMITE 2. And SMITE 2 is a very popular third-person action MOBA follow-up to the legendary ever-popular SMITE, and not to anyone's surprise, they're keeping that core gameplay mechanics while making some key improvement to the overall game. It's a pretty action-packed game that put you in a control of powerful gods from various mythologies, but now it takes things to the next level with faster-paced action and more intense teamfight with a complete visual overhaul. And also there is a more revamped progression system where your choices really matter, and you will level up faster, unlock new abilities and customize your god playstyle even more than before. I would say now it's a good time to jump in and check out the game, especially if you're someone who haven't played the first game. And the game is relatively popular on Steam right now, having more than 5,000 plus daily concurrent players. If you're tired of playing the same old 5v5 shooters like Counter-Strike or Valorant, it's time for you to try out something new. So next up we got FragPunk. So as I said, this one is a free-to-play 5v5 tactical shooter, kinda like Valorant and Apex Legends had a baby. You got a whole roster of agents with unique skills and abilities. It's super fast-paced, very twitchy and very aim-heavy, but what really sets this apart are these things called shard cards. So before start of each round, you and your team can pick up to 3 of these different cards that literally change the rule of every match. You can use it to flip gravity, instant reloads, invisibility after kills. Adds a bit of a fresh strategical layer to the game, but I personally found this shard card mechanics a bit annoying, especially if you decide to play the game more competitively and try to grind ranks. It's a bit hard to get used to, but if you jump in and just want to have some fun time, these shard cards different combinations are really fun to play around with. Other than the 5v5 mode, there is team deathmatch, free for all. There's a bunch of other arcade modes which are super fun to play. It is hands down one of the most unique games to came out this year, and somehow if you haven't tried out the game yet, now is probably the best time to do so. Moving on to a brand new game that just dropped on Steam and right now extremely popular, and it is called Mech Break. It's a free-to-play sci-fi third-person mech hero shooter where you pilot these sleek striker mechs in intense 3v3 and 6v6 PvP matches. And other than some of the typical modes, there's even an extraction mode where you can grab loot and fight bosses. And piloting these mechs are actually so much satisfying, the control feel more tight and polished, and each striker has his own abilities, kinda plays like an hero in Overwatch, with light support, heavy attackers or even snipers. They're all very satisfying to control. The gameplay vibe leans more into this heavy anime mech with clean visuals and explosive action. A lot of the stuff is paywall, the cosmetic items, even some of the striker unlocks require real cash or grind heavy tokens. The game actually just launched on Steam this week, so I haven't really had a lot of time to play the game yet, but no doubt it's one of the most popular games to drop in 2025, right now having close to like 50,000 daily concurrent players on Steam, and it is also totally free to play, so there is no reason not to check it out. Moving on to one of the most anticipated games to came out in 2025, and that is none other than Persona 5 the PhantomX. I personally am someone who not much into JRPG, anime style games or even turn-based combat style of games, but somehow if you are a big fan of Persona game, this is hands down one of the best brand new games you can jump in right now for absolutely free, and it got that classic turn-based Persona combat, but obviously with some free-to-play elements like gacha mechanics embedded into the game. But honestly, it's feel like a mainline Persona game to me, with sharp, slick anime cutscenes, stylish UI, modi city environment. No doubt the game has a pretty high production value with smooth combat and a solid story. I personally haven't really played any Persona style game, so I can't really talk about it much, but no doubt it's one of the coolest turn-based combat games you can jump in right now for absolutely free. Alright, moving on to number 3, we got the brand new co-op first-person campaign that came into Delta Force, and that is Black Hawk Down. Let's be honest guys, we all knew it was coming, but a lot of us expected it to be a paid DLC, but they kinda surprised us releasing the campaign for absolutely free for everyone. And this is a remastered, modern take on that classic campaign, bringing that intense squad-based combat that made the Delta Force series so special. And let me tell you man, this campaign is completely different from the typical multiplayer game that we used to play. It is super hardcore, super realistic. There's literally impossible to complete the whole campaign by completely playing solo. The game is literally encouraging you to team up with your friends or a random squad to complete the campaign. And I recently seen a lot of mixed reviews saying that the campaign is way too difficult, way too tactical, and they should reduce the difficulty to encourage solo players. But I personally like this new approach, more tactical, more hardcore, and has a huge replayability value, especially if you're playing with your friends. Anyway, it's really awesome that they release it for completely free for everyone to enjoy. So if you're in for a hardcore tactical co-op experience, this is no doubt one of the best first-person shooter games you can jump in right now. Alright, one of the most surprising and one of the most popular free-to-play games that dropped in 2025 had to be the Rainbow Six Siege X. And yes, you heard me right, Rainbow Six Siege is now actually free to play. Siege X is built on that classic 5v5 tactical firefight with destructible walls, drones, high-stake breaching, and with this new free-to-play edition, they added a new game mode called Dual Front. It's somewhat different from the round-based 5v5 typical Siege experience, and obviously if you are a free-to-play player, you don't have the access to the full game. You can't play rank mode or any typical game modes available in core Siege. It's pretty similar to PUBG, you don't have the access to the rank mode. But anyway, I personally think it's a very nice addition. Adds a bit of a fresh life to the game with new players coming in. With that also added bunch of overhauls to visuals, audio, and even improved anti-cheat system. So I would say if you're someone who missed Siege or you have been hesitant to jump in, since the game is now free to play, there is no reason not to jump in and check it out. Alright, finally we are moving on to the number 1 spot, and we got Splitgate 2. And as a huge fan of the first game, this is actually one of my most anticipated games to play this year, but after playing for like few hours, I kinda have mixed feelings about the game. So it's basically a fast-paced arena-style first-person shooter with signature Portal mechanics that let you blink around the map. It's basically a mix between Halo and Portal. Right now the game is still on open beta. The game will be fully launched by the end of this year, but you can still jump in and progress through the game and keep your progression even after the launch, which is great to see. In terms of game mode, you got your typical modes like 4v4, hot zones, kinda like King of the Hill, and even they recently added a 60-player battle royale mode, which is honestly something I never really expect from a Splitgate game, but surprisingly it works really well and fun to play. I absolutely love the gunplay of this game. It feels more punchy, heavy compared to the original game, but some of the Portal mechanics still does need some work. Hopefully more improvements will be added to the game with future updates. All in all, a very solid FPS game to jump in right now, especially if you like fast-paced arena-style shooters looking for something more unique to jump in right now. Well, there you have it guys, 20 of the best brand new free-to-play games released in the first half of 2025, and let me know down in the comment section which one are you going to try out first. And also if I missed any hidden gems you think deserve a spot, drop a comment down below as well. And finally guys, if you found something cool today, drop a like, don't forget to subscribe for more free-to-play game rounds up just like this. I'll catch you guys soon in the next one. Stay safe.